We'll roll call.
Brad Beaver.
Here.
Mark Hall.
Here.
Amy Masalamani.
Present.
Ken Alexander.
Present.
Sue Mackey. Present. Tim Griffin.
Here.
Steve Nation.
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
All right, Councilman Beaver, would you lead us in invocation and pledge?
Let's just have a moment of silence and remember all the men and women that are serving in our armed forces this evening. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. President, would you allow me a moment of personal privilege?
Sure.
Yesterday, my colleague from the past, Meredith Carter, passed away. And I just wanted to take a moment to recognize him. He served the county faithfully for many years. He was a good fella and a public servant, and I'll miss him.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the August 2nd regular meeting?
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We have public comments. We have one, Mr. Tom Goki. Is it Geki? Goki, thank you, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Tom Goki. I'm a resident of Carmel here in Hamilton County. And I'm speaking to the council tonight for a couple of reasons. I want to bring to the council's attention some issues surrounding property taxes, in particular residential property taxes. I want to inform the council of the current public opinion regarding property taxes. And I also want to ask the council to consider reducing its residential property tax rate by 10%. If I had to describe the public sentiment regarding residential property taxes in Hamilton County right now, that word would be outrage. I've gone throughout the community and I have solicited approximately 75 signatures of people in my neighborhood in Carmel. And on this form, it's very simple. It says, I want a lower property tax and lower assessment in Hamilton County, Indiana. I've gone throughout my neighborhood. I've obtained approximately 75 signatures of people who are, frankly, angry at the property taxes going up by such a substantial amount. My property tax in particular, from 2021 through 2022 went up by approximately 30%. And when I look at my assessment form right here, which I brought, it assesses my land at $116,500. The increase in my property assessment is solely based on the value of my structure. And according to this assessment, the value of my structure has gone up by $120,000. That's almost a 50% property tax increase, or excuse me, assessment on the value of my structure itself. I know that most people in Hamilton County here are seeing double-digit property tax increases, but when I've gone out and spoken with people and I've obtained their signatures, I can't tell you the number of people I've had who have expressed frustration and they feel hopeless because they don't know how to appeal it. I've been through the appeal process. I've successfully appealed it before. However, most people don't know how to do that, and so they feel stuck. People are feeling angry. They feel distrustful of those who are running the county, and they feel distrustful of those running the assessor's office. And I've had several people even tell me that they're considering selling their property and moving out because of the increase in property taxes year over year. I know that we've seen a high period of inflation and real estate values going up, but there appears to be no end in sight. So I'm here before the council tonight to bring this to your attention. Also ask you to consider reducing the property tax rate on residences by 10%. That support my position. I'm not just here based on emotion, but I'm also here based on fact. This is from page 4 of the audit report. The county's total net position increased by $0.571 million as compared to $0.5 million, an increase of 83.2. Now, I'm not quoting this directly based on the figures, but in substance, this is what the report says. And then it also says that approximately $83 million is available for spending at the government's discretion. And if I go over to page 8, it shows that property taxes increased by over $10 million from 2021 to 2022 by over $1 million. So in a period of inflation,
One more minute.
we've seen the county's expenses actually decrease according to this report. So the reason I'm here, as I said, I want to bring this to your attention. I want to ask the county to consider lowering the property tax rate on residences. And I welcome any questions that you may have.
Any questions? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Madam Auditor, do we have any other public comments? Okay, moving on. Committee reports, I'll start with mine. I think you guys have heard from me enough with the budget hearings, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass and say, Madam Vice President, do you have anything?
The only thing that I want to inform the public and the full council, we've discussed this a little bit with regards to appointments. We have a number of appointments that are, their term expires 12/31/2023, along with then one in November and two in February of 2024. We are, the portal obviously is always open for the public to submit their application, but we will be closing the portal on November 15th, and we will be making a decision with appointments in December for either the November, January, or February expiration dates, or December, I guess, rather. So December, we will be making that decision. We'll need to do a caucus, as we've done in the past, sometime between the November 15th date and our meeting in December, which we can discuss as we get closer. But just to let the public know, we'll be making those decisions in the next couple of months.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Highway,
We met and there'll be items on the agenda.
Finance,
We did not have a meeting.
Personnel.
We did not have a meeting.
Okay. Next item is tabled business. Have a motion for untabling any items?
Yes, I'd like to untable the Commissioners 144.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we go through with the hiring of the two positions, the county attorney and the paralegal.
So I have a second. We have,
I'll second.
all those in, okay, we have a any debate? Discussion?
So we're gonna do the county attorney and the
Paralegal.
paralegal now
Till the end of the year.
until the end of the year,
Yep.
and then we'll go with the
Effective.
department.
Yep.
Okay,
And then Madam Auditor, yes.
So you will hire, and do you guys have a problem with us doing that at the beginning of the next pay
No,
period?
that's fine. I would.
I don't, do you
I think
have,
that's fine.
as a motion, is that okay?
Yeah, we can add that, can we friendly amendment or just add that to the motion?
yeah.
None. My
Councilman
second.
Nation, is that, or,
Yeah.
is that okay?
Yes.
So I will figure the dollar numbers and everything and make sure we have those correct for
Okay.
you.
Any other discussion? I just think this was something that we've worked through with our budget hearings, and will be a project that we're going to be moving forward with in the year. So this, with that, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Are there any other items that we?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to motion to untable item D, the retirement plan update. We don't need to continue to have that on our agenda because we did go through with the passing during budget hearings.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So that's
Opposed?
a motion to strike?
Yes.
Now we gotta strike
correctly,
it.
Motion to untable. Yeah, don't we untable and then strike?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, Mr. President, motion to strike.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. New business, approval of vendor claims. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next item is Resolution CC 906-2023-01. This is for the purchase of real estate for Bridge 143. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. With that, this is for the bridge crossing for Cherry Tree over Vessel Ditch, and it's just a normal purchase agreement we have to do this process. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next item, ordinance 0906-2023-A. For a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. So motion approved. Any discussion? We'll come forward. This is for the bond that we had discussed, I think, last month and a couple months before.
We need to, this is the introduction and the motion.
Yep.
Okay.
Good evening, Council. Zach Klutz with the Taft Law Firm. Before you is ordinance number CC 0906-2023A. This is a bond ordinance approving a general obligation bond in an amount not to exceed $10 million to undertake the following projects: funding the county's commitment to the city of Westfield with respect to 191st Street Road System Improvement Project, certain land acquisitions for future improvements and expansions to county buildings, and various other capital expenditures and building and facility improvements. This would be an amount not to exceed $10 million with a 10-year term at an interest rate not to exceed 6%.
Any questions? Seeing none, thank you. So we have a motion on the table to approve, and then we can look for that vote, and then potentially motion to suspend the rules. Okay, so calling the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Next item, do I have a motion to suspend the rules and approve this on the?
Make a
We
motion.
have to do that, Zach.
I guess I wasn't clear if it was unanimous.
We heard 7-1.
No.
6-1.
6-1, sorry, thank you.
Okay, so for passage of the ordinance, was that, or for just simply introduction? I wasn't clear on.
Notice,
I-
passage.
Passage.
Okay, so for purposes of suspending the rules, and you probably know this, I just want to make it on the record, that has to be unanimous.
That's what I was
So that-
thinking as
yeah.
well.
So we won't be able to, I wouldn't seek to suspend the rules. What I would ask is that we could just consider this or reintroduce it for a first reading for purposes of the second reading at the next meeting for adoption during your regular ordinance process. But for purposes of suspending the rules and adopting the ordinance on the first one, Indiana code requires unanimous consent.
So how about if we simplify the process? Let me ask a couple of questions.
Sure.
Okay. Can you explain why the county's doing a city road project?
This is, I was informed of a commitment from the county to assist via an interlocal agreement to assist with funding of a road that Westfield is undertaking on 191st Street.
But we're using county dollars for a city of Westfield project, correct?
Partially, yes. So the area that this road is in, parts of it, the road itself is in Westfield jurisdiction. Then once you get off the right of way, it comes back to county jurisdiction. And so it's one of the things that Westfield has, I don't want to say slowly, because Westfield's probably the fastest growing community in the county, is growing that way. And so part of that process that they've gone through is they've got most of the road, if not all of it, in their jurisdiction now. But again, it's still part of it. Like I said, you go, what is that? Just off the edge of the right of way, it's back into your jurisdiction. There are parts of the road that are still county jurisdiction, but it's probably safe to assume Westfield will keep growing at a rate that will eventually annex that.
Makes perfect sense. Then why does the ordinance just say within the city of Westfield, wholly within the city of Westfield?
Part of that too is, and Zach can explain part of it more, is, yeah, do you want to take that part?
So what the county is not permitted to directly undertake road projects with general obligation tax revenue.
That was my understanding.
And so what we have said here is that this is funding a commitment through an interlocal agreement for which another governmental entity, a city, will undertake the project, and that the interlocal agreement will provide that this commitment is for purposes of funding a road that's wholly within the city of Westfield.
And the
That gets you-
infrastructure
that gets you
associated with the
around
storm,
property
workaround,
tax issue.
and the storm structures and all the other aspects that go along with the road.
Yeah, so part of what your guys, the bond you would issue would go towards, maybe the non-pavement parts, like the stormwater, any drainage, anything outside of the pavement essentially too.
Makes sense.
So it's kind of, so we're just making sure that we are able to legally use this bond for the intended purpose, right? Since there is that prohibition, and it's a property tax bond from the county for a road project.
And it shows 6.1 for the 191st Street portion of it?
No, so the 6,106,217 reference
Yes, sir.
is a certification that none of the individual projects will exceed that amount. So we are issuing a bond for not to exceed 10 million, but we need confirmation that none of those projects will exceed $6.1 million, because if they did, then we would have to go through a different process that would trip the controlled project statute.
Okay.
And so the controlled project statute is not triggered if you are funding separate and distinct projects that can stand on their own through one bond issuance, because they don't want you to have to issue 4 bonds for 4 different projects and have 4 different issuance costs.
Right.
So as long as we are comfortable, which we have talking with the contractors, that these separate and distinct projects will not exceed the 6.1, we can do all this in one bond issuance without the controlled project process.
To reduce the bond issuance cost.
That's exactly right.
Be more efficient with the
So we're at about $5 million for the Westfield Road project, that's correct?
Yes, that is the.
That's the commitment.
Only hard commitment at this point. Like Zach said, that there is language in there for land acquisition if you would like to use it for the courthouse project, or you can use cash. It's not binding you to that point. You guys would have up until the point that the bonds are actually sold to make that determination, which is.
I think the timeline contemplates selling the bonds mid to late October.
So there's still time, so we just gave you the flexibility, so if that were something you'd want to do, you'd have that option too.
Okay.
This ordinance approves a bond not to exceed $10 million. So if between now and the time we sell the bonds, you have determined, or there's a determination that the total project cost is 8.5, we would sell bonds at a par amount of 8.5.
But wouldn't it be projects, not project? So if Westfield's 5 million, then
It'd be projects.
projects,
Yes.
not project.
If the aggregate amount of projects is 8.5 million, then that's what the bond issuance would be.
And no individual project or projects beyond the 6.1 million.
No individual project standing alone can exceed 6.1.
So what happens to the other 5 million?
So if I understand correctly, I think, so the 6.15 that you was talking about, or 6.1, sorry, is for any individual project. Collectively, they can be over that 6.1. It's just every individual project cannot, which the Westfield project is 5 million. That's the highest one, but it's 5 million, no more. Just kind of like the Pleasant Street Bridge that you guys issued, I think last year, is 18 million cap for you guys. If it's any more, that's on the city of Westfield to pay for it, right? And so,
Sure. But
That's not
we don't have a
sufficient.
plan on what to do with the other 5
He's
million?
asking about the other 5
no,
specifically.
there's no set.
It was
Let's
the
say
land
outside of the land acquisition, any other project for the county departments, we put in flexibility, I guess, to that there's room for you to use it for the
Yeah.
jurisdiction.
So it'll come back before council at some point to spend the difference? I noticed the appropriation of the 10 is on the agenda later.
Yeah, so it was my understanding that there was a desire to do an issuance for the road project commitment of 5 million, to have funds available for land acquisition for expansions or improvements of this facility. And that would put us around the 8 million mark.
Okay.
We have some issuance costs, not 2 million by any stretch of the means, but it also, the 10 million was structured such that it would not have an impact on the existing tax rate of the county. So you could go up to that amount without having an impact, but you certainly don't have to.
Okay, and to,
That's still no answer.
well,
I want them to come back and
So-
do this.
so-
It's the same
so-
relative
but,
cost.
yeah, that's what I'm
It's the same
trying to
issue.
get to, if they have to come back and ask for it again. But to Ken's point, we're honoring a commitment that was made before.
The five, yes.
Yeah,
the
five.
five,
The
we're honoring
five.
it.
And then,
The five
and then it was
correct.
brought back and forth, in order for us to maintain our tax rate,
Right.
that they needed additional bond capacity, and that's why
Sure.
we moved a project that we were gonna fund in cash,
Yes.
which was what we had approved at the
Absolutely,
Yeah.
sure, I agree with all that.
2.5 into this bond.
But if we appropriate the 10, then nobody has to come back and
Right.
get from council how they're gonna spend the other, if it's 8, like to Zach's point, if it's 8, then the other 2.
We talked about this in the last couple of meetings,
Yeah.
where there's concern around.
Council, if I could, we certainly don't have to do the appropriation tonight as well.
This is the same as the last one.
We could authorize, to the extent you desire to authorize the bond ordinance, we can sell the bonds to whatever amount is needed for the projects, and once those funds come in, we just simply can't spend them until we do the appropriation process.
Didn't we do that with the previous
appropriations in
thing?
tonight's, it's the next thing on the agenda.
But if we don't hold the appropriation hearing and file the paperwork or Form 4,
don't have to.
3 and 4 with DLGF,
We did this, I thought we discussed this with another one though. There was another, we didn't want the same thing happening, and I can't remember,
We can't.
where we didn't have to appropriate, and maybe I'm
well,
wrong.
there's certainly no obligation to appropriate tonight. Usually it's done as a efficiency, but there's it's not.
But you needed to file the paperwork, right?
I'm sorry?
You need the appropriation to file the paperwork with DLGF, isn't that what you just said?
You will eventually, that doesn't have to happen tonight. We don't
Yeah,
have to-
but you have to have it, what, did you say October? You're talking about a month.
uh,
Well, we would do, when would you do the appropriation?
Yeah,
At any time after you receive the bond proceeds, but before they're spent.
So we can come back before you in October.
The bonds are sold in October, that doesn't mean you
Yeah,
have
it
to
doesn't mean-
appropriate the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, but the way it's set up, it's on tonight's agenda.
I know, they're just saying you don't have to do that
Right.
tonight.
You could take-
The appropriate.
The appropriation part of it, you don't lose anything if you just don't appropriate.
Can you just
You'll
table
get,
it,
you sell
or
the
you just
bonds, get the
table it?
cash, but you don't have to
Okay.
spend
You just
it.
table it.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
table the appropriation, the bond ordinance is not.
Makes sense, I think.
They're not,
Okay, Mr. President, I'll withdraw my nay, then I'll change my nay to a yea. Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate taking the time, the explanation.
Do I need to move forward with another roll call, or is that, Madam Auditor, is that fine?
Council, do they need a roll call or?
No, he can switch his vote. He can switch his vote.
All right, so with that, we're not going to, is there any other desire to suspend the rules?
Yeah, you would still motion to suspend the rules and adopt on first reading.
Right.
We're just not approving then when we appropriate, we're
Got it.
tabling the
Okay.
appropriation.
tabling the appropriation. that's
All right,
correct.
so we're all square. Okay. All right, with that, I'm going to, ready to open the public hearing?
Well, first we need a motion
Right, you need to actually motion to suspend the rules and adopt.
Okay, well, that's why I was just asking.
moved.
Right.
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, so we're suspending the rules, now we want to adopt. Does anyone have a motion?
No, it was a motion to suspend the rules and adopt on the first motion, so it's fine with that.
So we do-
So you can,
So suspend and adopt on the first reading, that can be all one motion, correct?
Yes.
All right,
thank you.
thank you.
Then make a table.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Once we get there, we will.
Yep,
So did-
all right.
So did you vote on that, Amy?
Yes, we did vote.
Okay, so now I think Counselor Nation said something about,
We have to go to the public hearing, right?
and then they'll do that.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, now opening the public hearing. First item is the,
There it is, okay, sorry.
Madam Auditor, what was that?
I said, no, there it was, sorry. That was A. My apologies.
No problem, it's been a long day.
It has.
The 2023 GEO bond for $10 million.
Motion to
Sorry, did you
table.
open the public hearing?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have a motion and a second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second for tabling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, who made the
I
motion
did.
second?
I
Second.
Okay, so
Thank you.
All right. We're back onto the normal plan with here. All right, next item is general fund requesting $4,620. We have 6 different items. I can go through those
Motion to
individually.
combine the
Second.
4,620.
So this be a motion to combine B1 through B6.
Correct.
All right. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Motion to approve 4620 for B 1 through 6.
But
Second.
those aren't all for 4620. These are all 144 amendments. The additional is down on number 5.
Wait. Okay, sorry.
We have 1 through 6.
These are all backdoor raises.
Strike my motion to combine.
All right, so item number 1 is a 144 amendment. Do I have for the
Right, okay.
court reporter?
Court reporter hiring above entry. Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, next item is a prosecutor 144 amendment.
It's just hiring above the minimum, right?
That's my
Yes, sir.
understanding. Yes.
Motion to approve.
A second. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Next item is the prosecutor child support transfer.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next item is a sheriff 144 amendment.
So moved.
Second.
All right, seeing the second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Soil and water, we have 2 items, the additional 4,620 and a transfer for 10,547. Do I have a motion for either?
Motion.
So moved.
A motion to combine 5A and B? Is that the motion?
Yes.
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to approve 5A and B?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next item is a Highway 144 amendment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, a second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item is Fund 1138, CCD requesting 250,000.
Motion to approve. This is
Second.
for replacement of a bridge.
Second.
Is that the, that we already have a?
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Cume Courthouse transfer of 50,000.
Make a motion.
Second.
All right, this is outsourced repairs and maintenance.
No, that's not, it's mid-year needs, that's just a.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mid-year needs to cover the, yes. Transfer from those. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item. We have Fund 1171, Major Bridge requesting 216,652.
So moved.
Second.
All right, this is a bridge inspection. Increase the construction cost and to cover construction cost increases. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next item, Fund 1175, misdemeanor fund requesting $1,700.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Perf and
Perf and FICA.
FICA.
Yep.
Overtime, yeah.
Yep, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we have a 144 amendment from E911, from Fund 1222.
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next item, we have Fund 1235 lit dedicated to PSAP requesting $8,002,698.
So moved.
Second.
There's
Seeing-
discussion, or I don't know if anybody
Go for it.
is aware, it's just with regards to money that's being allocated from PSAP, it's scoping for the EOC and 911 project, the interlocal for a one-time distribution that we discussed, I don't know how, not last month, the month before, and then our 911 services as far as our contract for the county and continuing that through AT&T.
So did all the cities sign off on that distribution?
This goes through the lit council, correct?
Yeah. We're
All of this
waiting
has
on
gone
that
through lit.
to get them all signed off?
Yes, we're all attached, Mark.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? All right, next item, Fund 4905, Digital Orthophotography, requesting $50,000.
So moved.
Second.
Just a refund of our contract, or renew our contract for the GIS projects.
Yep. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are now moving on to grants.
Motion to combine items J 1 through 3.
Second.
We have a motion to combine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We have a motion
Motion to approve items J 1 through 3.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? With that, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll move on to announcements. Sheriff, you could start us off.
I have nothing for the group, thank you.
Thank you. Council Attorney,
Nothing for the group.
Madam Auditor.
Have nothing.
All right, with that, I'll adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you.